Hi everyone, it's Sam here from Designing Daydreams. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while since I've had a chance to do a new video. Had a bit of life happening, a couple of kitties' birthdays and things like that, and my husband decided to rearrange the room where I was doing all my filming, so it's taken me a little bit to sort out potentially a new setup. We'll see how this goes, and with any luck we won't have any camera wobble because I'm set up differently this time, so fingers crossed. Anyway, today what I thought I would do is take you through my current planning setup, the way that I plan out my days and weeks and things like that, and work you through how it's going, give a bit of an update pretty much, because I've reached a point where I've sort of, I don't know, we'll see how we go. So currently what I've got is in front of me is the planners that I use on a regular basis purely for planning. Now, when I first started my planner journey, the reason I got into planners and the reason I wanted a ring binder was so that I could have everything in one place. For those of you who have heard of One Book July or the One Book Method even, that's what I wanted. I wanted absolutely everything in it, and I did. I jam-packed this baby so full that you couldn't even close it anymore. And I loved this system and I loved having everything in one place, but as I've discussed in previous videos, it actually kind of didn't work because the A5 size, as fabulous as it is, isn't portable. It's not. A5 is, but this is bigger than A5, and I found by the time I carried it in my handbag, I needed a new handbag, and then there were things in the planner that I didn't need to take out with me, and things like putting my groceries, my shopping list, and my meal plan in here. It seemed like a great idea at the time, but then taking this to the supermarket and having it open in the trolley, just kind of sitting there, it just didn't work. It just did not work for me. And I know it works for some people, but it didn't work for me. So we're going to talk about in a minute what I did to combat that. You guys have seen this layout before in my original walkthrough. I still want to zhuzh this planner up and jazz it up a bit, and I haven't got around to doing that yet, but we will. We will, one thing at a time, right? The last update you guys had was on my inserts. I was searching for different inserts that were going to work for me. And as you can see, I've got my lovely little clips. Here, this is what my planner usually looks like, my clips. These ones here, this one, and this one were from the lovely Jane from Sweet Tashie Paperie, and I will link her down below. She's fabulous. This clip I made myself, and this clip was from a lovely lady who makes these gorgeous enchanted fairy gardens, whose name currently escapes me, but I'll link her down below as well. Alright, so you guys saw last video that I had made these inserts myself. I'd drawn them up and then printed them out on my computer, and this is where we were. So this is all the way back in May. You've seen all that. And I printed out some of them on scrapbooking paper to try. That would have been the last thing you would have seen, was me trying to work out how to sort out how to get them, the backs and the fronts, so it worked. I worked it out. You fold the paper in half pretty much, and then you've got a back on each side and the front in the middle, and so you put the two backs together and then simple, right? So this is where we would have left off. Now this is the first scrapbooking paper layout that I did. Now, I really like a free-form method of planning, which is why I made these inserts. I've got the grid paper on this side. It's a very faint grid, so I'm not sure if the camera can see it. And then this has got a grid as well, but it's got some pre-drawn boxes. So I basically drew it up as if I was going to bullet journal, and then I recreated that on my computer and I printed it out. And I do have these inserts listed on my Etsy store, if it's something that appeals to you, as a printable, which I will link that down below as well. But anyway, so this is, you might not be able to see it very well on the camera, but if I was to put something white against this, you would see that it's actually a very sort of pale beige color. These pages white. Yeah. So you can see there, it's sort of a creamy, taupey kind of color. And then, like I said, I wanted something that allowed me more of a bullet journaling style, allowed me to add things, but I wanted a week at a glance, because as much as I love a daily layout, it just wasn't working for me trying to keep up with all the decorating, and I hated not being able to see everything at once, having to flip. So the week glance is nice. So this was the first scrapbooking paper layout that I did, which I was really happy the scrapbooking paper is a bit thicker too, so your pens don't bleed through or anything like that. The paper's a bit better quality. So then over here we've got another white one, because obviously these are the backs now of the two papers. I really liked this layout. I really loved it. I loved the little stickers and illustrations and brush lettering, and the whole combination really appealed to me. And then I was trying out the mini tracker stickers from my store, because the sheet that I've got has got some bigger sizes and some little sizes, and I found them both to be equally useful. I really liked those. I have a few things that I like to include on all of my spreads. So on these weekly layouts, I like to have my tracker, my to-do list, and then also I decided from over here, you can see I've got a quote and a quote. So what I call quote of the week. So just something inspirational to sort of give me a bit of life, and then everything else kind of changes around it. So there was that there. Then here, the pink. So this is obviously another one of the other scrapbooking papers that I had. My son was taking antibiotics, so I had a medicine tracker, some to-dos, the quotes, again, a little bit of illustration. I found the pink very pink. I know that's a funny thing to say, but I found that as much as I'm a colour person and I love bright colours, the brighter the background colour was or is, the more difficult it is to follow my day. And you can see that what I've been doing, the white paper shows it better, is that a lot of bullet journals, and Boho Berry is someone who uses it a lot. I'll link her down below. They have like a little bar at the top of their day where they colour in with their time tracker of how they want to lay it out. I liked that concept, but rather than having a daily bar, I decided to actually just colour block how long I anticipated my activities to take. So with Orion going to school, obviously that's 9 till 3, so I coloured that in, and he's blue. He's colour-coded to blue. So anything in blue writing or blue colouring is his specific activities. Pink is for myself. So you can see there, the reading and the groceries went to here, where school goes to there. Green is for the family, something that we're all doing. And then purple is something relating to Piper, so there's not a lot of stuff on there because she's younger. But then I found once with this spread, as you can see, the colours are harder to see, and I had to colour in a bit more. I had to use some white out there. That didn't bother me so much. I forgot that we didn't have school. This was week 1 of the school holidays, so I'd written in that we were going to dancing, and dancing doesn't run on the holidays, so never mind. Then once again, this was white. I also really liked this spread, although as you can see, it never quite got finished. But you can see where the colouring is. I had loved having a chance to do something different and to use these are my stickers from my store. And I had lots of fun making a little delicate sort of ballerina sets, and then decorating that and sort of zhuzhing it up, making the headings with a bit of washi underneath, and then layering some stickers. So this was fun. I loved this one. I loved these colours. This is great. The green. When I turned the page and saw that I had this green spread, after I'd struggled with the pink, I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? And as you can see, the colours are quite hard to distinguish. I had to colour quite solidly. But that said, I loved this. I loved how this turned out. I drew my tracker bullet journal style only because I hadn't printed out any more of my tracker stickers, and I just haven't had the time. Even now, a few weeks later, I haven't had the time to print out any more of my tracker stickers. So I did a bullet journal style tracker just to try it out. My to-do list, Orion's medicine log, I drew it all up, and then his antibiotics finished on the Monday, so that was not well planned. But I loved how the colours turned out with this. I loved the green and the gold and the way that it sort of turned out. So that was interesting, because I can see now that perhaps potentially white here but colour there would work. I don't know. It's an experiment, right? It's all in a process. This week here, I wanted to use my watercolours, and you can see the pages have curled. It actually took it really well. It didn't soak through, but the paper does curl up, as with any watercolour. So I painted the time in instead of colouring it. And this was Orion's birthday week. Yep, Orion, he turned 6. So I tried to use his favourite colours here, the blue and the red, and I didn't really like it. And then I started writing the heading and I wrote June, and then I stuck the washi tape over, and I didn't like that either. And then I painted the banner and stuck it over. Anyway, this layout did not thrill me. I didn't mind this though, doing the tracker on a journal card. That was something a bit different. But yeah, it was alright, but I was glad to see the back of that week. Now this is this week. The pale blue actually wasn't as bad as I'd anticipated. I sort of flipped this over and went, oh no, another bright colour. But the blue's been really good. I haven't coloured in the daily headings or anything like that. You've got the sort of little washi details here. But it took the colour okay. And then over here, I love how this turned out. I was so happy. I drew a little lolly shop and my to-do list, obviously. Once again, my tracker. I still haven't printed out those tracking stickers. Today is Wednesday, so I haven't filled any of this out yet. And this was out of my Kiki K Paper Lovers book. And when you flip it open, I might just lift this paper up. Hop! So on the weekend, we're having Piper's birthday party. She's turning 3 on Friday. So I wrote out the details of the party and then my to-do list for the party underneath this little happy birthday card, which I really loved how that turned out. And I fitted in with my lollies theme. She's a lolly kid. She loves lollies. So that was sort of her little thing. And then obviously this quote of the week was taken from, there's an old nursery rhyme or poem, you know, what a little girl's made of, sugar and spice and everything nice. So I thought that fitted the lollies sort of theme. So that's that. Anyway, so that's how my inserts have gone. And now I've still got, in the weeks that follow, a few more to do. I've got this white one here. And then I've got, this one's going to be interesting because it's very, very bright. And as we discussed before, that's been an issue. And then I've got, there's one there. That's going to be interesting as well because we'll see how we go. Like I said, it's an experiment. And that's the last one. I've got a couple of white ones stuck in here that I'd already pre-printed on a different white paper before I tried the scrapbook paper. So there's those. Now, the reason for this video is I love this layout and I love these inserts, but I have discovered that there's certain aspects that are things that I would probably like to change, and I might end up, what I think I'd like to do is try bullet journaling in this ring binder. And by that I mean drawing out the layouts by hand, because there's that thing called planner piece that everybody talks about, the fabled planner piece. And I have a few theories on planner piece, and one of them for me personally is the joy of creating something new all the time. When I first started this layout, I adored it. It has everything that I need. It has the times down the side, it has a vertical layout, it has the dates, it allows me to plan ahead because I can print it out en masse and go like this, as you can see, goes through to September. But I kind of over time got sad by the fact that I couldn't customize it because it was pre-done. So I think what I'm going to do, I went to Officeworks yesterday and I was able to get myself some dot grid A5 paper. I'll show you in a second. Let me see, it's just here. So I bought one of these spiral notebooks. It cost me $3 and it's just got dot grid paper in it. The dots are really dark is my only thing. I know that sounds really pedantic, but I like mine to be faint because it feels like the dots are like super, super dark. And the paper looks really thin. I'm not going to lie. When I was dubious when I bought this. It was the only dot grid paper I could find. My local Officeworks, which is a stationery store here in Australia, stocks Leuchtturm, Moleskine, Clairefontaine, all of those things, but nothing in a dot grid. It's all plain or lined, and I didn't want that. I specifically wanted to try a dot grid. I'd never tried a dot grid before, and this is all I could get. So it's a 5mm dot grid, the same as what the Leuchtturm is, but I've never owned a Leuchtturm, so I don't know. But I know when I see videos and pictures of people using them, the dots do look a lot paler than that. These are really dark. Anyway, I tested out the paper last night. I just did a little quote with my brush pens, and I was really surprised and impressed. It didn't bleed out or feather, depending on how you want to look at that. I don't know if you can see that, but the ink has stayed exactly where it's supposed to stay. And when I turned the page, there is basically no ghosting. Like, you can see it, but it's really difficult, and there's absolutely no bleed. So I was really impressed. Now this, I know a lot of people bullet journal directly into this. What my plan is to uncoil it, and I may end up doing that on camera. We might do that on camera in a later video. And I'm going to probably just washi tape down the edges because the holes don't line up. And I'm going to use this paper in here. And what I'm planning to do is actually draw up a heap of bullet journal-esque layouts ahead. So I'm going to start drawing them in the next, probably this week if I get a chance. And I'm just going to keep adding into the back of my calendar. So this is late September. So that when I get to the end of these, I will have, obviously this will be blank, and then on the other side, same thing. I will have some different style layouts to try. The ones I like, I'll get onto the computer and I'll replicate them. And then I'll have a variety of things to print out or to decorate, to change things up a bit, but still allow me to plan ahead. Because that's my big flaw with the bullet journal system. I say flaw, that's preference, would be a better word. I prefer to plan ahead. This planner lives on my kitchen counter specifically for the purpose of me being able to see everything ahead of time. I am going to move, I've decided, into these sort of dividers that I haven't been using. I think I'm going to follow a bullet journal-esque kind of method and do like what they would call collections or master lists, things that I would refer to all the time that I wouldn't necessarily want to swap from journal to journal. Over time, I'm going to draw those up and I'm going to re-sort out these sort of sections and put them in. And then this is still my finance section, and it's going to stay that way. It's got my monthly budget, how our finances go, and a savings tracker, which we aren't getting very far yet, but we are working on it. So every month I'm going to add that in, and I have got a couple of blank ones in here to work on over time. And then obviously we're looking at my weekly finances, my layout, how that's all set out. You guys have seen that before. And I have got a blank one at the back here as well, which I may do something with. Like I said, I'm looking at master lists and collections, and I've got a heap of inspiration from the bullet journal community, and I love it. But I've decided that for me, keeping everything in one book is not going to work. So this is going to be my future planning or my future log in a weekly layout, or my weekly layouts and my future stuff is going to be in this A5 planner as I've always done. And like I said, I'm going to have a play around with the inserts and see how we go. So currently this is how I plan, but that's also how I'm planning to go forward in the future, alright? So, in addition to this A5, as you guys know, I also run a personal planner. Let me put that up there and let me find it, which is here. This is just in my handbag. You guys have seen it before. I have made a couple of little changes to it, which I'm going to share with you. And the idea of this planner is really just to have a duplicate calendar of what's in my A5 in my handbag. So that's why I originally got this, because I realized when I could no longer carry the A5 in my handbag because it was too big and annoying, I needed an alternative, and that's why I got this. Now you guys have seen these inserts before. You've seen me even decorating one on camera before. This needs updating actually, because I'm nearly out of what inserts I had. I've got, what have I got here? This is March, then April, May, June, July is all in here. So it's got a fair bit of past history in here. And this is the one we decorated on camera. Now I did get a request for my inserts that you saw in my A5 in a personal size through the Etsy store. So currently what I am using in here is my prototype. This is not this week, I've been behind, so I just need to take that out. This is a prototype of I'm going to say a replica, although it's slightly different, of what you see in my A5 in here. This is a 3mm grid, right? And I've got same idea, except I've changed it around a bit. I've got this week is July, and the dates. Still got room for the top 3, and this time section, instead of going from 9 till 9, runs from 7 till 9, which I actually like better. So I put this in here, and I had to jiggle the layout a little bit to fit, because the personal size is sort of longer and skinnier, so it was a bit more difficult to work with. And then obviously this page is blank. Now, I just wrote this up as a notes page because I wouldn't use this as my flagship planner, but some people out there expressed interest in having a duplicate layout of what's in my A5. So I'm currently trialing these inserts, which means I'm not really decorating them because I really only wanted to have the essentials and the notes. And then you can see the week after this, because this is a couple of weeks ago, I set it up, I put a little sticker at the top, I filled in what was happening. This is last week, but I didn't end up writing anything in it because I didn't need to. All of my notes will be in my A5. But like I said, I'm trialing these for my shop because a couple of people were asking for them. I was worried the 3mm grid would be too small to write in, but it's actually not that bad. I actually don't mind it. Now this is this week. Ta-da! So as you can see, us planner girls don't always have a perfect life. I wrote the dates in a little early, the copper came off. I haven't even filled it out. So this is the end of July, and I have a few of these. I don't know why I printed out so many, but I did. To be honest with you, I'm not going to keep this in here because I personally don't need this level of detail in my personal. This is literally only a place for me to jot down what's happening when I'm out and about on the go. So I will probably go back to this sort of layout. And I'm actually, to be honest with you, I'm considering even just purchasing some basic Kiki K layouts. The paper quality is not great, but then I just don't have to worry about it. It's just in there. I can decorate it if I feel like it or not. It's really just to write in, to be honest with you. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with this at the moment. But for now, as you can see, I've been so busy the last couple of weeks. With the kids' birthdays being 8 days apart, it's been a very hectic time. So there's that. Now, I have made some changes. This has notes in it, which it did before. But since I saw you last, I've started doing the cash envelope system. So instead of having 2 sections of notes, I've now got a section at the back here for my cash envelopes. So this envelope is the allowance I've got for my kids for their clothing in there. This says personal care. So this is things like money for the hairdresser, money to get my nails done, you know, waxing, whatever else I might need is in here. And what I do is I've actually then separated the cash with little post-it notes to tell me how much it is and what they're for. So as I add things to the envelope, I will do that. For me, for clothing, this one's currently empty. If I open that, moths fly out. And then miscellaneous things, like if for example, my nana picked up something for me for the kids' birthdays and I owed her some money. So once again, I labeled the money on a post-it note and I put that in there. So that is currently what I've got in the cash system. I do pay all my bills online. So this is only for that sort of extra money. And then once again, the notepad at the back. And yes, this is a Heidi Swap notepad, so the holes don't add up. They're close, but they're not quite. If I was to actually make a note on this that I wanted to put in my planner, I would have to repunch the holes. But I bought this notepad because it was the only one that I could find. Ugh, it's dirty. It goes in my handbag, so it gets filthy. The only notepad I could find that was actually the right size for the notepad slot. So I was envisioning that if I wrote on this, it would be more likely that I would be ripping it out and using it elsewhere than putting it in here, but it's possible. So yeah, that's that. So that's a very quick run through. So in my bag, my handbag, this planner lives, and the A5 I keep on my desk. But I discovered that as much as I love a weekly layout and as much as it's good to have a duplicate planner, oh, I forgot my bookmark, in my bag, I had a problem where I still sometimes needed to make extra notes that I needed to access either at home or when I was out and about. Now, the layout of this would sort of suit that, jotting down things while I'm out and about. But then I never take it out of my bag when I'm at home, because if I do take it out of my bag other than to plan in it, I forget to put it back. And then as we've already discussed, my A5 was too big. So I was in this dilemma for a while of what do I do when I have a busy day and I need to write other stuff down, or even if I just have things that I need to make notes of, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? So that's when I discovered bullet journaling. And the bullet journaling system I really love. But I knew at a glance, looking at it, I sort of binge watched Boho Berry's channel, which I'll link down below if you're interested. And I knew that a lot of those things weren't going to suit me. I loved the idea of keeping everything in one book. I did, and I still do, and I wish that I could. But I just don't think with a family life that that's going to suit. Because if I have this and I've got it sitting open on the bench, well, then it's not in my bag. And if it's in my bag, it's not on the bench. And if I'm writing in it. So what I realized was that I needed a planner on the bench that just sat there, which is what my A5 does. And then something in my bag, but something that also that I could take notes in. Now, in theory, I could duplicate the layout that's in my personal planner into here and do it that way and take this in and out and in and out and in and out, because this is pretty slim and it fits nicely in my bag. And I am going to do a what's in my bag video so you can see how this all works together. But I had the personal planner already before I started this, and I don't think that I want to put the cash envelope system into here. So at the moment I'm in the middle of sort of working out how this system's going to work. So what I keep in here, and I won't do a full flip through now. I will do a video with a flip through of my bullet journal, but not in this one because this video is already getting kind of long. But in here, what I basically do, and I'll find one page that I can show you that will make sense before I do the flip through. So this is Friday. I had a big day on Friday. And I needed a space to write a specific to-do list for Friday. Extra stuff that wasn't going to fit in my A5 planner, or, well, it wouldn't have, or that I didn't want to put in there because a huge daily to-do list is not what that planner is about. This was where I did it. So I wrote the date and I just wrote the daily. So if you're a bullet journaler, you already know that this is my daily entry. I just have it in a different place to where my weeklies are. So that is, and that's been working for me. It's been great. I write everything in here. There is nothing that I cannot write in this book. I do not have a separate place for, you know, a planner for this, a planner for that, a planner for that, a planner for that, without a specific use. I do have other planners, which I will show you in another video coming up. You're going to see I have one more planner in my collection, and it's my absolute unicorn, I guess is the word. And you will see a video of that coming up. But I needed just something that I could just scribble in, and it didn't matter, and I didn't care, and I could just make notes on anything, and I didn't feel like it had to be pretty or perfect or fabulous. And this is what I had. Now, bullet journaling, it's popular to do in a dot grid notebook. This one is lined purely because this is what I had in my bookshelf. I am a notebook person, and I've always collected notebooks. And I just had a shelf full of blank notebooks with no idea what I would ever do with them. So I grabbed this one first and I started writing in it. And that is the only reason that I have got that. I would love to get my hands on a Leuchtturm just to try it. A lot of people love them. A lot of people say they're not quite good enough, but I would love to try one. But I also am going to make a point first of using up my other journals and my other notebooks. So I am going to do a video of a flip through of this, a detailed flip through of this, and a look at my other journals that I have, because I do have more than one journal for different purposes, and my other planners, so I will show you through those. And the next few videos, I think, while I work out what I'm going to do with my permanent video setup and how everything's going to work, my next few videos are going to be just looking through things that I have and how I use them and how I set them up. And then we'll come back and start doing more. I might do another plan with me and things like that. So that's my current planning system. I have a bullet journal for my dailies, for my thoughts, for my whatever I need to write. I have my personal planner in my handbag, and I'd really like to combine these two things, but at the moment I'm not sure how to do that. I just am not sure how that's gonna work, because I love having the journal, but I also love this little planner so much. I love it so much. So I don't know. They may stay separate. I think that's at the moment probably how it's going to stay. And then I also have my A5, which, like I said, sits open on my desk like this. It's never closed. It is on my kitchen bench all day long. This is just how it looks. I move it to my kitchen table when I want to plan, or if I'm planning elsewhere, if I'm going out somewhere with my husband, and often he'll go down to the driving range and hit golf balls with the kids, and I'll sit in the cafe and do my weekly planning. That's a great Sunday ritual that we have. He gets to spend some time with the kids. I get a coffee, well, tea, I drink tea, and some time to myself. So I do have the facility to close it up and take it with me, but usually it lives open, which is why it's so dirty, because I never see it shut. This is my workhorse planner. It really is. Eventually, one day, it will need replacing, purely because it's just going to get used and loved to the point where it's going to need to be sort of sorted out. So there's that. So that is going to be it for this video. It wasn't really much more than an overview, a walkthrough. I get a lot of people who ask, not necessarily me personally, but there's a lot of talk around about what's your planning system, how do you manage, how do you use multiple planners. This is how I do it. Weekly layout on the kitchen bench for everyone to see. Personal one in my handbag just to refer to if I'm out and about, because this is too big to put in my bag and not everything in here needs to go in my bag. And my journal just for my thoughts and other things. So that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned coming up for the next ones, where we're going to dive into my other things and my other collections and move forward from there. So have a fabulous day, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.